Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Peter on Curse Prison versus Spencer on 5-color SnOko. Curse Prison, pretty wild deck. Though Oko could introduce some complications in terms of layers. I think that the power and toughness setting from Oko will actually override the lock from Curse Prison. We'll see if that comes into effect. Essentially, Peter's going to want to get down a Curse of Misfortunes and allow that to accumulate turn after turn, additional misfortunes for Spencer. It's a pretty difficult permanent to deal with in a practical sense. Too big to be Abrupt Decayed. It's an enchantment. Those are much harder to deal with than creatures or artifacts. And Peter committing a Mox and able to get down a Trinisphere, which Spencer may be looking to stop. Oh, very interesting situation. This could have been much worse. So Spencer cracking a fetch land, and Peter in response dark ritualing out a opposition agent. If Spencer had just cracked both of those, this could have been really graphic. We've got a Force of Will stopping the opposition agent. And now this other land is going to actually be found. Trinisphere still on the stack. Peter tapped out, but likely not facing down Daze. If this is in fact SnOko, tends to try and drag your opponent into the deep end of the pool and drown them. So cards like Daze, typically only in the tempo strategies, or occasionally, now we're seeing in decks like Sneak and Show or Eureka Tell, trying to push through their combo super early. Ice Fang Codal, the 3 mana now, cantrip. Still worth it. Making use of those end steps. Trinisphere is really a heck of a card to play against because this Oko comes down and actually makes a food. Does not take out the Trinisphere right away. Signaling that Spencer likely does not have Force of Will in hand. Otherwise getting that back online, often priority number 1. We see a Leyline of the Void has come down, and now a Helm to combo with it. This will be, oh wow. And that is all. So Helm of Awakening, or Helm of Obedience. Obedience. I might be getting that wrong. Sorry if I am. A Helm combo combines with Leyline of the Void or Rest in Peace to just mill your opponent out completely. Helm, you can pay X mana to flip cards off the top of your opponent's deck until they reveal a creature, or X cards, and then you get any creature that is revealed there. So the way it's kind of drawn up is you mill your opponent a bit and then eventually steal one of their creatures. However, when cards don't end up going to the graveyard, thanks to Leyline of the Void or Rest in Peace, you never actually end up putting in X cards or a creature. Either way, the cards are just going into exile, meaning that the cycle continues and you actually just mill your opponent out. And since the cards are being exiled, there's really no utility for your opponent as well. At least with Painter Grindstone, there are some things that can happen. You may have a Eldrazi in your deck to shuffle everything back in. I have one of my favorite matchups that I've played in Vintage way back in the day, playing Control Slaver versus Painter's Servant, and my opponent using Painter Grindstone to try and mill me out, and I had a Blightsteel Colossus in my deck, meaning that I drew it for turn, and then was able to use Yawgmoth's Will to replay my entire graveyard that they had conveniently just given me. My entire deck was in the bin, converted for an easy win. But would be a very different situation if those cards were getting exiled. Is really not much in the way of making use of those cards in Magic. Once it's in exile, it is mostly out of the game. The graveyard very often functions as almost like a second hand away from home. Arkham's Astrolabe, traditional opening for SnOko. Gonna look to smooth out that mana base. And a Chalice at 1 doesn't get more archetypal than that. Arkham's Astrolabe and Chalice at 1, both of these decks doing what they're supposed to be doing. We'll see how reliant Spencer's going to be on his 1-mana spells to smooth out his draws, or if he already has what he needs. We've got a couple of Chrome Moxes here. We're going to see a Curse of Misfortunes jammed. We are. And that is a snap Force of Will. Spencer not even considering brainstorming, as Chalice shutting that off. Brainstorm still useful to be pitched. And now another bomb, Karn. We'll see if this ends up being Mycosynth Lattice or Liquid Metal Coating. He does grab the Liquid Metal Coating. I didn't actually catch how he... I guess he has enough mana to actually play that, meaning that Arkham's Astrolabe is just shut off thanks to Karn. However, Liquid Metal Coating is going to annihilate each of those lands one at a time. So the first one becomes an artifact, can't be used that turn, and then in future turns you can actually turn it into an artifact and devour it with Karn, turning it into a creature with power and toughness equal to its casting cost, meaning it's a 0/0, dies as a state-based effect. Every land would just start getting chomped away at until eventually Peter can win however he wants. So Spencer getting dispatched there in 2 with some powerful plays there from Peter. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.